This is part 2 on how I create my signature bridal glam makeup, all about skin and also how I do the chest makeup for my bride. Let's go. I'm going to prep her skin with my favorite facial radiant pads. If you have been following me, you know I love these. I use them on practically everybody. It's just gonna be a very light exfoliator, not too harsh on the skin, so it won't not burn. You can immediately put makeup on afterwards. It's totally meant for it. It's just gonna remove any dry patches, any flakes. It's just gonna give you a perfect, smooth surface right before applying your prep products and your foundation. Next, I have been obsessed with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Water Cream. Super hydrating, but not overly hydrating. It's just the perfect amount to apply onto the skin. I'm gonna apply it all over the areas except for the T-zone. So Brie here, she has perfection skin. She doesn't have combo skin. She's not too oily, she's just normal. But we still wanna make sure that we hydrate really well and smooth out anything that she doesn't even have. So we're not gonna smooth out anything. We're just going to control oil just in case for later on the day. Now for one of my favorite products, Hourglass Veil Primer. Now this primer blurs out any large pores, so it has like an iridescent finish. And I like to go in with my finger to work it in, because this part of your face and the nose are where your pores are. Mostly where people struggle with large pores is in this area here. So I'm gonna work it in. And it helps to control oil as well. Apply this everywhere here. A little bit on the chin. Prepping is very important when doing makeup. We wanna make sure that we have a solid foundation on the face that is hydrated, not foundation like makeup, like the foundation, the base, her base needs to be hydrated and perfect to receive the foundation. Okay, now we are going to apply it in the middle of her forehead, here. Perfect, okay. Now, I'm going to apply some eye patches. These are my favorite, Hyaluronic Cloud Hydra Gel eye patches from Peter Thomas Roth. Super hydrating. Underneath our eyes, we crease. But the key to helping them look a little bit better when applying concealer is hydration. So that is what we're gonna do. Put some hydration underneath the eyes so the concealer can lay a lot better. Okay, they're staying put now, but in the middle of the video, you're gonna see them start sliding down to her cheeks. Okay, just like that. Benefits of using eye patches. There are a few benefits. So they have caffeine in them, so it's gonna help to reduce any puffiness underneath the eyes and also help to reduce any discoloration, just a tad bit for the day. It's not gonna change over time. That's when you need to go in with the heavy duty stuff. But these eye patches just help for the day of, right before you apply your concealer. So you are not wasting your money or your time using these. Okay, so now I'm gonna hydrate her lips. I wanna make sure that her lips are nice and hydrated while I do her eye makeup so they can marinate so nicely and be ready for me to apply lipstick and liner and gloss and all that good stuff at the very end. So Brie has perfection skin. Like actually there's like no flaw. But if she is going to be partying it up all day on her wedding day, you need it to last and stay all night. Thank you, Creative Beauty, for sponsoring this video. Now, if you are watching this video right now, you are probably an everyday woman who wants to learn tips and tricks on how to apply makeup on yourself, and I hope these videos are so helpful for you. Or you are probably a makeup artist wanting to learn new tips and tricks to advance your skills. Well, I am working on a program that's going to change your life in this industry. So I'm going to be teaching you everything that you need to know, my blueprint on how I became a successful makeup artist, and I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm going to show you everything behind the scenes of being an admin, contracts, timelines. You will also receive one-on-one training with me where I teach you how to create a luxury makeup kit, as well as hands-on training with me teaching you my signature makeup looks. I believe this program can change your life. If you are ready to take the next step, hit the link in my description. So I like to color match the entire body, not just her neck, because our neck is always going to be lighter because our face covers it. So it's always going to be completely different than our face color. So I always like to match the body because when you're taking pictures, you want everything to match. So I'm going to use Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk and this e.l.f. brush that I'm obsessed with. I believe the brush is only like $8 or $10. And I'm just gonna apply this everywhere. I'm even going to mix it with something else, but first I'm gonna place it everywhere. I'm not worried about coverage just yet. I just want to blend this baby out in every area of her face. And to the neck. Since she is having her hair up and her ears are visible, I always put foundation on her ears and in this area here, because again, we do not want to have multiple different colors on the face. Mix them up, put on the foundation. Less is always best. That is my code. Okay, now I'm gonna put a little coverage on there. I'm gonna use NC15 MAC Studio Fix Fluid, just a tiny bit. I'm gonna place a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, all the areas that I placed the Giorgio Armani. And this is what's gonna give her longer wearage. A little bit more coverage. And the mix between this and Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk is the perfect combo. But not too much. You don't want to look really thick in the face. So my style of makeup, I would say, I want my makeup to last long. I want it to be full coverage, but I don't want it to look like it or feel like it. But I want it to look flawless. So buffing and using minimal product is key. Very careful around the eyebrows. I don't put anything underneath the eyes. I let the concealer do the concealing. So the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk gave her that silky finish, that hydrated look. The MAC Studio Fix Fluid is like a satin finish. So it leans a little bit more towards the matte, I would say, more matte than satin. And when you mix the two together, it gives you like the perfect finish. Not too matte, not too dewy, coverage, wearage, and her skin still looks like skin. Okay, now let's go into the eyes. When you have a really dramatic eye, you have to be careful that you color correct if you're gonna go in with a really light concealer, because it's gonna really show gray. So you wanna make sure that we color correct if there's anything that needs to be color corrected. I'm gonna use a little bit of the Natasha Denona, just right in here. So sometimes, depending on the client, I use a darker concealer to color correct and then a lighter concealer to highlight. Sometimes I use a color corrector and then I use the lighter concealer. But in this case, Brie doesn't have a lot of discoloration, so I just want to color correct with a color that is pretty much her exact skin tone. And then I'll go in with the lighter concealer and I'm just gonna press it in. I'm using a sponge that I cut in half because it literally gets into every little nook and cranny. So I'm just gonna press it into the skin. If you're wondering what shade that was, that is the N4. Right in here and a little bit here. Because that is where we have discoloration, is always in this little pocket here and there. Gonna press it in. And then whatever's left over right in here. Okay. Now I'm gonna go in to highlight. I am going to use Vanilla from Nars. Radiant Creamy Concealer. Love this stuff. So I'm going to pick some up. Gonna place some here and a little bit there. I'll place some right in the center of my nose. A little bit on the forehead, a little bit here, there. Don't be afraid to go in with a good amount of concealer because the key is blending. Okay, so I'm going to now start blending it out. And the reason too why I like to apply concealer just here and then in the outer part is because I want to just make sure we cover up the most important part, because it's where we have discoloration, and then whatever's left over, it'll just have the remaining here, and there's not a lot of product, so they won't build up with your fine lines. Look up. Look up. I don't pass the nose either. Sides of the nose as well. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with that little brush that I love that we used for underneath the brow to clean up the wing. I'm gonna get some product and go right underneath it. Perfect. Just so we won't mess up that perfect wing. Just like so. Okay. Just gonna melt it in right in here. This is my Luxie nose contour brush. I like to use it for any little area that I could probably not get into. So I use this little brush to to get into those areas that I can't reach. Now I'm going to just press it onto the nose. I want to leave that size of when I applied the concealer. I don't want it to be really wide, so I want to keep that same size on there, so I'm barely patting. And then when I get towards the middle of the brow, that I go on both sides, because I don't want just one little strip right in the middle of the eyes. And then I blend out the forehead by the brows, center of the forehead, just like so, whatever's left over on the chin. Okay, now I'm going to go in with some some liquid contour. Rare Beauty, this is in the shade Mellow. Love this, it melts right into the skin. I'm just gonna use one little dot, and I'm gonna use the Sephora brush 47. Love this brush. I'm gonna make sure that it is all coated evenly on my brush. Then right in here, where the tip of her ear is where I'm going to place my first dot of contour. So I'm gonna place it there. That is the height that I wanna go. And I'm gonna press it midway and stopping here. Then I'm going to blend it up towards the hairline, just like this. I'm gonna pick up a little bit more product and blend it underneath the jawline. Same on the other side. We are going high because we want to lift the face. We don't want anything dragging down. And then we're going to go on the hairline. I was going to say waterline. The hairline, meeting it here. You want to look like the sun just kissed you. You don't want to see your skin and then the bronzer. You want it to look completely blended. Then you're going to pick up some more and apply some on your jawline, meeting here. So you're kind of doing a 3 on each side, well, a 3 and an E, to put color in all the right places. Okay. Then we are going to slim down the nose. I'm going to use a Luxie nose contour, whatever is left over on my hand from the liquid bronzer. I'm going to start in the front of my eyebrow. A little bit more. And go all the way down. Connect to the tip there. Same here. Right on the sides of where we applied the concealer. I don't want it to be super noticeable, but I want it to be like a natural nose contour. Okay, now I'm going to go in with some blush. This is one of my favorite blushes, especially for my girls who don't really care for blush, but you want something on your cheeks. It's called Enigma from Milk. It's a very pretty soft pink. I'm gonna apply it on the back of my hand. And I'm gonna use the exact same 47 brush from Sephora. I'm gonna dust off any bronzer that's on there. I'm gonna even it out on my brush. And I'm gonna smile for me. I'm gonna place it on the high points of the cheeks. Okay, relax. Okay. Right on the high points and going up. Again, we wanna lift everything up. I chose to do this very soft blush because The eyes are the main focus. They're dramatic, they're smoky. So I wanna soften up the cheeks, and we're gonna soften up the lip so it still looks like a very beautiful bridal look. So I didn't go in with a dramatic blush and a dramatic lip. It's gonna all balance out. I even go, look up for me, like right underneath the outer part of your eye, just so it can look blended and seamless. Okay. Oh, honey, yes, we are here for this.
13 to 30.
13 to 30. 13 going on 30. We're blending it into the bronzer, high points. And I'm doing patting motions. I'm not doing sweeping motions because I don't want to remove what we have. I want to remove the contour. Okay. And whatever's left over, a little bit on the chin, a little bit on the nose, a little bit on the forehead. Okay. Now, when you do not blend out your concealer right away, it starts creasing. So, since it's been sitting for a little bit, I'm going to go back in with the exact same concealer that we used, Vanilla, and I'm just gonna apply it right on the inner part of the eye and focus it here. Just going back and forth, focusing it here, bringing it down a little bit. Then whatever's left over, I'm gonna marry the blush with it so it looks very blended together. They're marrying each other. Same on the other side. And it also helps to brighten it up a little bit more because we want that brightness right in the center. Okay. Right in here. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Now that everything is placed on her skin, that is cream and liquid, now we are going to set it so everything can stay put. So I'm going to set it with the Huda Beauty Pound Cake, and I'm going to use a little puff from Amazon that looks like this. These are the best. And I'm going to press it into the palm of my hand. Like that. And I'm gonna press it right on the inner corner, drag down here, and whatever is left over, slightly move over, just slightly. Perfect. The reason why I melted in the skin first is because I don't want to put a lot underneath her eye. I want it to get acclimated to the skin already, so when it applies directly onto the skin, it just looks very soft. Not so harsh because we're not baking. Okay, look up. Okay, now whatever is left over on my sponge, or on my puff, sorry, I just apply it onto the laugh lines. Because we still need to set this area, but I don't want to set it with so much product because we have really thin skin here and a lot of makeup likes to sit right in those fine lines. So less product there is better. I set the nose a little bit as well. I'm gonna go in with some powder. I'm using MAC Mineralize Skinfinish powder. It melts beautifully into the skin, and it is not mattifying, it's not drying, so any skin type that you have, you can use it. So I'm gonna use the powder puff, and I'm gonna go in with the color Light, and I'm just going to press it into the skin. And this is what's gonna also give you a little bit more of a coverage. So if you see areas that need a little bit more coverage, just pick some up and dab. Rather than using a brush, this will pick up more product. So I'm just gonna press it in. And even if you wanna cover up a little bit of areas by the cheek. You can totally go over it because we're gonna go over it with powder blush and powder bronzer. So we're being very strategic on where we are placing the powder because we want that coverage and we want it to be set. We don't want it to move. And we still want it to look very natural. Oh, sorry, and flawless. Oh, honey, yes. Okay, now we are going to go in with an angled brush. Angled brush, you can use this. Wow, do I need a new brush or what? Do you see this brush? It is literally a tree now, honestly, but they don't make this one anymore and I love it so much. So I'm like literally riding it till the wheels literally fall off. Okay, so I'm gonna use Christian Dior in the color 30 Tan Matte, and I'm gonna even it out on my brush. I'm gonna place it everywhere where we did the liquid bronzer. The jawline. The forehead. Perfect. Then the crease brush that we used for eyeshadow. Gonna remove a little bit of shadow from there, pick up some bronzer, and just set the nose just a tiny bit. Okay. And now I'm going to go in with some blush. I'm gonna use Gucci blush. This is in the color 05 Rosy Beige. It's a really beautiful color. I'm using the exact same brush that I use for bronzer. Just remove anything that's on there and just lightly pat where the cream blush was. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with one of my favorite products, which is the Dior Backstage. Love this. I'm gonna use a little bit of the pink just to go on the high points of the cheeks to give her a little bit more glowiness, a little dewiness just right in there. Just a tiny bit. I love this because it makes your skin look like skin and glowy and hydrated, all the things. A little bit on the chin, nose, and forehead. The blush is a first to go, so don't be afraid to put on a good amount. I'm gonna use my favorite highlighter brush from Morphe, M510. I'm gonna use this light one here, and I'm gonna mix it in with the gold. I'm gonna put it right on the high points of her face. A little bit on the side. Same on this side, the nose, sides of the cheeks, sides of the forehead. This is what's gonna give you that pretty Botox glow on the forehead. A little bit on the chin. So if your bride is telling you, I wanna look dewy, very hydrated, this is how you fake it. You're not gonna go in with so many dewy products and just think that the foundation and the concealer and all that is going to be what's gonna make it very dewy, because that's not gonna last. You need to make sure that we place the highlighter products in all the right places to give you that dewiness, because we do not want the products to move around. We want it to last. And if you do use the dewy products, make sure that we set it with a good amount of powder so it can eventually seep through and look dewy. Okay, Perfect. Now I'm gonna remove what's on her lips. Now that they're nice and hydrated. And I'm going to pat it and even it out with whatever leftover powder was on my puff. I'm gonna give her a really pretty nudie lip. Okay, I'm going to go in with the lip liner called Caffeine. I'm gonna trace the lips first. Gonna go in with the color Platinum from Lawless. Gonna apply this all over the lip. Okay, rub them together a little bit. I'm gonna go over it with a little bit of a cool tone right in the center. This is in the color Endless Cacao. To tone it down a little bit. Not tone it down, give it a little bit more of a cooler effect. But Endless Cacao could sometimes be a little too harsh. So that's why I started with the lip liner. That was a little bit warm. And when I do this, I kind of like to blend it into the lip a little bit. Same on top. I like to really focus on the Cupid's bow and down here, because this is where we're going to create that natural pout. I'm going to go in with lip gloss Dior 001, my favorite gloss. I probably use this on every video. Right in the center to give you a really pouty look, a little bit over the Cupid's bow. And just like so. Now we are going to do skin makeup. My favorite, I'm using Westmore body foundation. This stuff is so phenomenal. It is long lasting, it's transfer proof, waterproof. You can blend this out on your arms, the back, your front, your legs, every place in your body because it's body foundation. It's so great. Brides, don't worry about this getting on your beautiful dress because it will not. I just tell my brides to let it sit for like 20 to 30 minutes. Since this is just body foundation, I like to put a little bit of glow drops on it. And I'm using the Urban Decay Space Cowboy, and these are the Face Bond Luminizers. I'm gonna use an Amazon foundation body brush. And I'm going to blend this out everywhere. The neck, shoulders, it works so beautiful. It gives you like a really natural tan. Because I like to be a little extra It's not enough glitter. Let's put some more glitter. So I'm gonna go in with the Nicole Guerrero palette, and I'm gonna use the color Forever Young with a tiny bit of Glow Getter. And I'm gonna apply it right on and right in here. Okay. And now you can go back in with a little bit of bronzer. And do little touch-ups. Does she need more bronzer? Does she need more blush? This is the part where you just bring everything together before she sees the final look. OMG. Oh my gosh, Brie. Gorgeous. Okay, last but not least, we gotta set this bad boy. Gonna use Onesize. Yeah, she's taking a deep breath because she's gonna have to hold her breath for like a minute. On Till Dawn Mattifying Waterproof. Okay. I'm gonna get her chest too. We're gonna set the chest. Because this baby is not gonna move. And there you have it. This is one of my signature bridal glam looks. I hope you enjoy.